These patterns took 10 minutes to trace and I didn't miss a single line. The process is super simple and here's how you can do it too. In this video, I'll show you one simple trick for transferring geometric patterns onto watercolor paper using a light box, a pencil, and a ruler. Stick around to the end because I'll show you my secret tool for cleaning up tiny mistakes without having to redraw entire sections. You can go from tracing to painting in no time. If you're used to tracing organic line drawings, you probably have a system for tracing from top to bottom, or subject first, then background. But that same process doesn't work well for intricate geometric patterns. With lines going in every direction, it's easy to miss a line and not even realize it until later when you're painting. To quickly get an accurate transfer of a geometric pattern, you need a more methodical approach. Let's start with a pattern that only has straight lines. Then I'll show you how to handle a pattern that has curved lines. The geometric pattern templates in this video are available in my shop at jackiehernandez.studio/shop. In addition to a pattern template, you'll need a light box, a pencil, and a ruler. I recommend a 2H pencil and a clear ruler. I'll explain why in a moment. I'll link my supplies in the video description below. Tape your printed template on the light box. Then center your watercolor paper on top and secure it with artist tape on at least 2 sides. Before you start tracing, look at your pattern and notice the directions the lines run in. This is the Asanoa pattern from my Color Harmony watercolor project pack. This pattern has vertical lines, horizontal lines, as well as lines at 4 other angles. The pattern has lines at 6 different angles, so we can trace it in 6 steps. Sounds a lot more manageable, right? The idea is to trace all the lines in the same direction at the same time. That way you can lock in your ruler at a specific angle and then slide it across the page to trace all the lines going in the same direction. For this pattern, first I traced all the vertical lines. After tracing the first set of vertical lines, I slid the ruler across to find the next set of vertical lines. Try not to trace over any gaps between the shapes. Using a clear ruler makes it easy to see the pattern through the ruler so you know where to stop and start each line. Then I traced all the horizontal lines from bottom to top. Before continuing, I toggled my light pad on and off to double check that I traced all the vertical and horizontal lines. Then I worked on the angled lines, one direction at a time. I start in one corner and trace the first angled line. Keeping my ruler at the same angle, I move it across the page to trace all the lines going in the same direction. After completing each angle, I turn my light pad on and off to make sure I got every line. I repeated that for the other 3 angles, each time starting in a corner and working toward the opposite corner. Using this method, you can trace a 5x7" geometric pattern in 10 minutes or less. A larger 8x10" pattern will take 20 to 30 minutes depending on the complexity. Coming up, I'll show you how to clean up tiny mistakes and get these pencil lines ready for painting. But first, I want to show you how to handle a pattern with curved lines. This Shippo Kiko pattern from my Gorgeous Gradients watercolor project pack is the perfect example. Notice that this pattern also has straight lines in 6 different directions, but it also has curved lines that we can't trace with a ruler. Not to worry, we can use the same methodical approach. First, I traced all the straight lines following the same method I used for the last pattern. I trace all the lines going in the same direction at the same time, then repeat for the other angles. Since all the curved lines in this pattern are connected by a straight line, tracing the straight lines first gives me a target for where to stop and start each curved line. Next, we need to freehand trace the curved lines. The easiest way to do it is to trace all the curves that are oriented the same way at the same time. This takes advantage of muscle memory to make the same arcing motion over and over again. First, I traced all the vertical curves bowing out to the left. Then I turned my light pad to trace the next set of curves. Always turn your paper to make the curves more comfortable to draw. This way, my hand stays in the same position and I'm making the same counterclockwise motion from the top to bottom of each curve. I move the design to match the most natural position for my hand. Your lines will be much less wobbly this way. Even though this pattern has a bunch of curves, it still only took 10 minutes to trace. The last step is to get these pencil lines ready for painting. While you were tracing, you may have overshot a few lines. I want to show you how to clean up those small mistakes. Instead of using a regular eraser, which will erase an area larger than your mistake and you'll have to redraw, it's better to use a tiny eraser. This one is the Tombow Mono Zero eraser. It's a stick eraser that is much smaller than a typical pencil eraser. It gives you the precision to erase small mistakes without having to redo an entire area. It's also a great way to protect your watercolor paper because you're only erasing where absolutely necessary. The other eraser that is a must-have is a kneadable eraser. Even with a light 2H pencil, sometimes the lines come out darker than you want or need for painting. A kneadable eraser is a quick fix. You can dab or roll a kneaded eraser over your pencil lines to lighten them without actually erasing them. It's a must-do before you start painting. There you have it. In just 10 minutes, you can transfer a geometric pattern for watercolor painting. You can get these geometric pattern templates and more, complete with step-by-step painting tutorials in my shop at jackiehernandez.studio/shop. If you'd like an even faster method for transferring outlines, watch my video on how to print patterns directly on watercolor paper.